So what's up, everybody? Bitcoin actually did what we were kind of expecting. I was watching to see if Bitcoin was going to break down, but it did not. Saturday when I put out the video was right here, and I was kind of curious or cautious based on this breakdown of support right here. But we did get the inflation print that we expected, and the markets did go up and break through the expected move of the week, and that also helped to put a bid under Bitcoin. And as you can see, Bitcoin did expand this week in a bullish direction, creating this nice looking, fairly bullish weekly candle. Obviously, now tomorrow will be the close of this candle, but we will see how this works out moving on into the future. We have consolidated for many weeks now, as you can see, which is very good. That's typically what we wanted to see. You can see down here, we consolidated for many weeks and then we got an expansion. I'm not saying that we're going to get an expansion for the next couple weeks, but it is potentially possible. All right, there are some things that we can talk about to kind of give us some help on this. So there are rumors of an ETH ETF coming soon. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, but the rumors are definitely putting a little bit of bid under Ethereum and Bitcoin. If we go look at the ETH-BTC chart on Coinbase here, and we pull up the RSI, you can see that ETH versus Bitcoin has been rather weak for a pretty long time. We did get down to nearly 30 on the RSI, which is typically an area people will look to buy. And you can see here on the weekly time frame that ETH versus BTC has been putting in bullish divergences for a long time. So is a bottom forming on this? It's possible. We will watch to see if this ultimately becomes the bottom wick right here and we slowly start to move back to the upside and anticipation for a potential ETF. Obviously, I believe that Bitcoin will be okay. Ultimately, if Ethereum catches a bid, I do believe Bitcoin will also catch a bid. And I do believe that we are bullish when you add the fact that meme stocks got a nice bounce a few weeks ago, and literally this week that just passed, this thing traded all the way up to $64. On the lows down here, we were trading at like $9.90 and it traded all the way up to $64. Huge move on meme stocks. So it does show that there is some bullishness out there in the market. If we pull up the S&P 500, you're going to see that we did in fact breach the expected move last week, which we anticipated here on this channel. If you want to go back and watch last Saturday's upload, we discussed this in full, expecting the CPI to come back down in line with expectations because of the fact that the oil price dropped over $7. And we did get that, and the markets did in fact make fresh all-time highs and closed on Friday just above the expected move high. So the new expected move high, we are pricing in a $56 expected move. So that's $56 higher from the close and $56 lower from the close. Your high end expected move will be 53.59 spot 26. And the low edge of the expected move will be 52.47 spot 26. And then obviously the close is 53.03 spot 26. So not a very big move this week in terms of range, but that has to do with the VIX. Remember, the VIX is what prices in the expected move. With a very low VIX, you can see the range is very small. And we do actually have NVIDIA earnings this week as well as the FOMC minutes. Now, we don't really expect a lot from the FOMC minutes, but NVIDIA's earnings is pricing in a potential 10% move on the stock, and that could in fact make the S&P 500 move a little bit. So we're going to continue to do the same things. Anytime if we get a low move or a push lower down to the bottom edge of the expected move or into this daily support right here around 52.20, we will look to enter bullish positions moving forward, as we pretty much think the market's going to continue to move in this direction. Gold, obviously getting a nice move on Friday. Didn't make an all-time high, but we did get this consolidation move lower and then the push up. I I don't understand what's going on with the metals right now, but even if you look at silver, finally broke out above that big level of 30 bucks. And we are well above that now with at 31.49. Big move higher. If we go look at SLV, you'll see it even there. Broke out of this kind of wedge formation here and off to the races it went, hitting 28.79, which is a long time high. So we do potentially have a breakout on silver. We're going to continue to watch silver to see if it wants to make a higher run, but it's going to be difficult to enter up here as we are well overbought on the daily time frame. We would love to see another consolidation period here like so, and then we could potentially look for prices to move up. Now, the fact that silver and gold are moving up, it is putting a little bit of concerns on the overall risk markets. People are assuming that inflation is going to tick higher based on the fact that people are buying into gold and silver, as well as utilities. Pull up utilities here, the XLU, which is the utility sector. You can see that for the last few weeks, 5 weeks here or so, this thing has been on the run. More of a cautious trade, if you will. And as the same goes for the XLP, which we discussed a little bit last week, which is consumer staples. So you can see that the rotation into consumer staples is moving pretty good there as well. Now, if we go look at the overall small caps, the IWM, you can see that we are back near the top edge of the range. And, we're continuing to look to see if this thing is going to break out. Once it got back under the yearly opening range, we were cautious on it. But as soon as we got back above it and started to trend higher, we're back to being bullish on the IWM. It is in a longer term range, so we got to wait for a decent entry. That's pretty much what your range is going to look like. I would watch 210 spot 30 for that move higher. That wick though, right here on this, actually tagged a bigger line or a bigger support zone. If we go look at the line chart here, beautiful touches here, and then another almost touch there, breakdown, a new touch once the breakdown occurred. And if you look at the line chart, you did not touch it, which was that 211 area. That was our first bullish target. And you can see that we did hit that bullish target. And that's literally when we reversed. So the fact that we're coming back up again for another potential touch is a good sign. It is overall constructive. It is overall bullish in nature. So we're going to keep 210 and 211 on watch. If we can get a breakout above that, I think we could see prices as high as 216, even pushing up into potentially 220, as long as the markets stay bullish, as long as nothing dramatically bad happens. Like I said, last week, we were looking for the VIX to potentially get down into the $11, $10 area. You can see we did get under $12 there, with the close at 11.98. This is very bullish. Anytime the VIX is on the lows like this, the markets are generally bullish. The tech stocks and everything like that are doing pretty good. I think Google ultimately hit fresh all-time highs again, and yep, there it is. Thursday it made all-time highs, and Friday we took out them and made fresh all-time highs. So the tech market's pushing back up into the high areas. Apple did get a close back above the yearly opening range, so currently Apple is a little bit bullish on the year, and we are going to watch the 2024 yearly opening range for a potential support hold. We do get a support hold on this level right here at 187.15, the yellow line. We are going to be looking for potential support and bullish trades off of that area. And then ultimately AMD is another place where we could potentially look for support to hold. So I'm going to be watching the 162.67 area to see if this area can act and hold as support moving forward next week. If it does, I can put on a bullish call spread using a $5 wide strike, because this asset moves very, very quickly. You could hit $5 in one day. We're going to be looking for Apple and AMD calls potentially next week. If those areas hold. Now on Nvidia, your all-time high is still back here, all right, but you do have earnings coming up. Like I said, this week it'll happen on Wednesday, so we will be keeping an eye on Nvidia, as it is expected to move 10% based on the implied volatility. If it does get that move, we'll look to see, you know, hey, does it go down or does it go up? If it goes up and stays up, then we're going to just continue to look for bullish trades. So still bullish. Being bullish last week was the trade when we said that in Saturday's live stream. So hopefully you guys were able to make a little bit of money this week, and hopefully you'll be able to make a little bit of money next week as well. Remember, you're looking for pullbacks and you're looking to get long. We did in fact get a pullback, but it wasn't the pullback I was expecting, as I was expecting the S&P 500 to pull back to the bottom edge of the expected move. But we got that on Tuesday with PPI's numbers. We got that move lower there. That was the only pullback we got all week last week. Or you could have just simply been a buyer at 52.95, as that was intraday support. And I do believe it was daily support as well, and it was right there. So there was the only pullback move we got. Unfortunately, it didn't register on the SPX because that pullback occurred during pre-market session. We know what we're looking for moving forward. We know we're going to continue to look for pullbacks, and we're going to look to get long those pullbacks. And finally, Tesla appears to be holding support at 171.76. So any daily closes under 171.76, I would probably leave it alone until it gets down around this area, right? We want to see if this little descending trend line can hold a support. And if it doesn't hold a support here, it may want to come down a little bit lower to find support. And if that happens, we will look to buy. Now, if we cannot close the daily under 171.76, then we could potentially look to buy on any retests of that level. So there you go. There's some trades for you to look for next week. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.